We certainly are seeing demand for non-Bitcoin, non-Ethereum products in Europe. Our XRP and our Solana ETFs crossed $1 billion in assets this year.
I was looking at the index, and it looks like it's roughly 77% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, and sort of 6% XRP. And then
cross-border payments almost instantly, without delays, without the fees of traditional banking. They can process billions of dollars in volume at a fraction of the current cost.
People are laughing. When you say 1,000 XRP couldn't change your life, can't change your life. But here's the math if we look at this.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee. Shout out to the latest sub. Buckle up, glitches. Let's go full speed. Full throttle. We got XRP currently right around $3.19. $3.20. Is the alt season over? Is the bull market over? We're going to dive into the charts, but we got Ashish Barilla to pop off. For years, Ripple has been laying down the groundwork to connect TradFi to DeFi. It's finally paying off, and the best is still yet to come. TVL and XRP DeFi has jumped more than 70% in a month, although still relatively low, over 95 million according to DeFi Llama. And tokenized real-world assets has 10x since January to 176 million according to RWA.xyz. Also, bagman bag ladies, look out for the scammers in the comments on X. They want them baggies by any means necessary. Digital asset investor head of the business at 21 shares. Our XRP and Solana ETFs crossed 1 billion in assets this year out of Europe. You can only imagine what it'll look like in the US once those products are approved. Institutions, banks on their way.
We certainly are seeing demand for non-Bitcoin, non-Ethereum products in Europe. Our XRP and our Solana ETFs crossed $1 billion in assets this year out of Europe. And as you mentioned, smaller markets, you can only imagine what that would look like in the US once those products are approved of strategies lately, including Ondo, Sui, Doge, as you mentioned, XRP, Solana, as well as 2 index products as of last Friday. Looking to track the top 10 crypto assets globally. And so for us, really, it all comes down to giving investors this optionality and this level of choice where they can express their views on certain assets and use the ETF as a vehicle to do so in a really, like I mentioned earlier, low cost, safe, and transparent way.
Mass adoption is upon us. I hope you got those bags packed, locked and loaded. We got another one from DAI. You have not seen a free market in crypto the last decade. Utility is coming. XRP is coming. If you look at NASDAQ 100, from the top 10 holdings of NASDAQ 100 in 1999, only Microsoft has retained its position in the top 10, the flippity.
I was looking at the index, and it looks like it's roughly 77% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, and sort of 6% XRP, and then, kind of Solana and a couple others. But really curious to hear kind of like, how has the index sort of evolved over time? Like, has it gone, because obviously like in 2017, there was far less investable assets than there are sort of today.
Yes.
And I'm just like really kind of curious, like over the 9 years, how, was it kind of like 99% Bitcoin when it started and then it's sort of fallen, or what are the trends and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, and this is part of any emerging technology. Okay. So you have this, transition, you have this shift over time, between assets. Some assets go to zero. There's a lot of experimentation happening. It's too soon to call the winners. This is not different, from how the internet was back in the 90s. So if you look at the NASDAQ 100, from the top 10 holdings of the NASDAQ 100 in 1999, only Microsoft has retained its position on the top 10. So this is normal for any, for the tech space. It's normal to, if you look at like in 5 years, 10 years horizon, there's a shift around this. And this is very normal. In crypto, this is way faster because just like this ecosystem is evolving in an exponential rate, way faster than the internet evolved in the 90s. But so it's very natural. So that's why we have designed a methodology that is evolutive and dynamic. Okay, so the idea is to replicate and reflect the market, however the market is. So the index started with 5 assets and 90% concentration on Bitcoin. And it evolved over time, over some bull markets, it went up to 13, 14 assets. and like a 60% weight on Bitcoin. Now it has 9 assets and 70% weight on Bitcoin. So it's designed to reflect whatever the market is. If the market expands, as we believe it will, as a new asset class, this index can have like 20, 50, 100 assets. There's no limit to the number of assets this index can have. On the other side, if the market contracts and the only asset out there is Bitcoin, the index is going to be highly tilted towards Bitcoin. So it's really designed as a benchmark to represent the space like for passive investment and also for benchmarking.
XA, I have crypto. Bitcoin Maxis can't stop talking about XRP. You better understand what you're holding. XRP is like Google in its early days. Once you experience it, you don't go back, just like Gmail versus Hotmail. The next few years, XRP explosion incoming.
Cross-border payments almost instantly, without delays, without the fees of traditional banking. They can process billions of dollars in volume at a fraction of the current cost. Also, Trump has just signed the Genius Act, and that has moved, essentially it's taken their ability to utilize their technology, that's taken it from questioning stage to it's doable now, so there's a lot to that. I'm not going to get into it, but they've also recently applied for a bank license, which would allow them to settle payments with the Federal Reserve directly. So that would even intensify this ability to be this answer to the problem, right? So cross-border payments were at 190 trillion in 2023. So that's how much money was being sent between borders in 2023. Some have estimated that number is going to jump to 290 trillion, 100 trillion more by 2030. So there's going to be a huge, additional market for cross-border payments. And so somebody that could do it faster with less fees, it has a lot of market to cover, a lot of ground to cover. So here, this in summary, if we're in the early stages of crypto, there's going to be major foundational players. I believe Bitcoin is one of them. I think it's proven to be, and that they're going to outlast the rest. Think about back to the early stages of the internet in 1990. And think about Google, think about Yahoo, and obviously Yahoo is kind of fun. They've been slowly chipping away at their foundation over the years and been making stupid decisions, and they're falling. But Google, there have been major.
Somebody recently.
There have been major players. Well, I don't know. We're not going to get into that. That's just the research that I've done. It's kind of old now, but when it comes to Yahoo, is that they're not making good decisions. But there have been major players in the internet. There's going to be major players, essentially pillars in the crypto world. I believe XRP is one of them. XRP is currently the third largest cryptocurrency. And so it's like you've got Bitcoin, and I think Ethereum is number 2, and then XRP is number 3.
We got Ripple, Bullwinkle, 1,000 XRP at $1,000. 1 million. People laughed at $1 Bitcoin too. Adoption changes everything.
People are laughing. When you say 1,000 XRP couldn't change your life, can't change your life. But here's the math. If we look at this, if XRP ever hit $1,000 by 2030, that's 7 figures from a very tiny bag of XRP. Remember this, Bitcoin was once $1. It's now over $100,000, and it's going to 200, 300, 400, 500,000 as well. Anything is possible, especially when adoption hits. That's the key word, adoption. XRP, it's in the middle of the biggest payment revolution that we have ever seen. So yeah, if we get the adoption, if we get the utility, sky's the limit. Are you going to be part of this journey?
3 zeros for XRP, David Schwartz. 6 zeros. David is wearing a gold covering in his head. David is the only one in the picture. Message is, put the 1 before the 6 zeros and you get 1 million. That's the value given to XRP, 1 million being gold banked or covered. Notice the other side is blank, that is the old fiat system. Let me know what you think down below. Riz XRP, the legal shackles are off. The regulation jar of molasses is bursting open.
What is really working in crypto at this moment? What is the biggest utility that we have at this moment in time in crypto?
I think, going back to, where we started out over a decade ago and really solving the cross-border payment, the payment challenge, enabling banks and financial institutions to move money around the globe is a real, even in 2025 today, it's still quicker for me to get on a plane and fly that cash to my aunt in Australia than it is to send an international wire. And so we are really kind of breaking down barriers, enabling these financial institutions to give their customers a much better experience. And whether or not that's through stablecoins or through XRP, being able to do that on a truly global basis, I think that is a transformational shift in terms of how we think about traditional finance.
Meanwhile, Maxis continuing to be Maxis. XRP is down 86% from its all-time high in 2018. It's unlikely to ever recover. XRP Mickle says they're afraid of XRP, that they won't even use the all-time XRP versus BTC chart. They need to manipulate the data because they hate the truth. The truth is, the vast majority of XRP's history, you're better off buying XRP than BTC. Meanwhile, are we at the market peak? This guy says he sold 33% of this ETH bag today. Most will call me an idiot for what I'm about to do, but I've seen this setup back in 2017 and 2021. Here's why I lost everything by at the end of October. Meanwhile, taking a look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, we're in this BTC speculative cycle that began in April of 2024. Will this cycle be any different than the previous two? In the previous 2016 halving cycle, which lasted 553 days, and we went into a bear market that lasted 826 days. Then we had the 2020 BTC halving, which is another bull market, which lasted around the same amount, 553 days. Then we had another bear market that lasted around 875 days. Here we are once again in another BTC Bitcoin speculation halving cycle. And if this cycle lasts around the same amount of time as the previous two, then we're looking at a fall of 2025 potential peak for this Bitcoin speculative cycle, which will give us around less than 3 months left in this current speculative cycle. Will we go into another bear market, or will we switch to a full-blown utility cycle? With that being said, look out for the fall of 2025, October, November, for a potential cycle top. This one's pretty interesting here. Period when to make money. Insider farmer who predicted 100 years of market cycles predicts a bullish peak in 2026. Taking a look at the BTC halving dates. Next one coming up in 2028, around April 3rd, projected 2028. Then 2032, 2036. And taking a look back when the periods when to make money. Cryptocurrencies peaked at around 2018. Then he has another peak here at 2026, going into the end of 2025 into 2026, possible market top. Mustache, altcoins. I see a lot of top callers, although ETH hasn't even reached its 2021 all-time high. Up only season for alts hasn't even started yet. Corrections are part of the cycle, but dips are for buying, in my opinion, higher. Much higher. Another one for Mustache. If you've been following me for a while, you know that this is one of my favorite charts for the total two. Biggest run for altcoins just around the corner. Mikey Bull, altcoin caps getting ready for a mega breakout. Breakout will pave the path for alt season. You ain't seen nothing yet. At Grab Crypto XRP, charts don't lie. The chart speaking volumes in 770% surge. All we need to ignite this journey. What we're witnessing now is just the beginning of something much bigger. The future looks bright. A 7.77x pump is potentially in the horizon. The chart doesn't lie, and we're gearing up for an exciting ride ahead. Stay ready. Stay strong. Take a look at XRP versus BTC. Once again, we haven't seen anything yet, as we've been tapping this resistance line for quite a while now. Last time we broke above this resistance was December 2020, and again in April of 2021. Then we tapped it one more time, tapped it again, and currently XRP's been flirting with the same resistance line a few times here, going above it and coming back down. Once again, going above it, coming back down, going above it, coming back down, and once again we're tapping this resistance line. If we can pump past this resistance line like we did back here a couple times, then we would see a nice 40% pump for XRP. A 40% pump from our current prices will put XRP at around a $4.50 XRP. And if XRP were able to surpass this resistance line and come up to the next resistance line, then we're looking at around a 111% pump for XRP. And we look at the 2017 cycle where XRP surged massively, had 2 mega pumps. If XRP were to return to these levels, we would see a nice about a 700 to 800% pump. 111% surge to that second resistance line would take XRP to around $6.75. And if XRP were to surpass the previous levels versus BTC at around 800%, we're looking at around from the current prices, $29, $30 XRP. And the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Rich list, where will those bags be when that regulation jar molasses finally burst open and XRP's true price is finally revealed?
Big bags.
We'll catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Welcome to the party. This a moon party. Hey, this a moon party. Hey, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This a moon party. This a moon party. Welcome to the party, we don't play round here. Moon suit on or you get sprayed round.